Roger Wicker from Mississippi. And Senator, you've said that the tax reform issue should basically be saved for another day. But we heard from John Boehner today. It sounds like he's kind of bringing it up to the forefront. What can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you something more in about 15 minutes, because it's my understanding that House Speaker Boehner will be meeting with Senate Republicans over lunch today. So as soon as this interview is over, perhaps I'll learn more. But yes, I do think that is correct. I'm heartened. I'm more optimistic than I've been in weeks. I think the president is willing to realistically talk about entitlement reforms and savings going forward in the entitlement programs. And yes, it does appear that there's some willingness on the part of House Republicans to talk about closing tax loopholes in return for cutting tax rates both for individuals and corporations. Just looking at the body language and watching the people talk on the floor of the Senate this morning, it seemed to me like real progress is being made, and there's real substance in the talks today.
Okay.
Senator, it's Bob O'Brien. Is there a willingness, though? I thought I heard in some of the Sunday talk shows this past weekend, some members of your party signaling they were even talking about going beyond simply closing loopholes, but actually talking about putting tax increases on the table.
Well, okay, you just had a report about small business creating most of the jobs right before the break. I just really think going back and revisiting any of the tax rates that are currently applicable and raising those tax rates on small business would put a huge wet blanket on the economy. I'm not willing to vote for those. But I do think closing tax loopholes and cutting corporate rates, doing as former President Clinton suggested, might be a real winner both with Republicans and Democrats, and actually give the president a better economic outlook in his run for re-election next year.
Senator, you have called our national debt a national security issue. You say you're more optimistic than you have been at this point. That's music to our ears. However, if you were to still look at what could happen, in the chance that we don't get this right, what happens then?
Well, of course, I've been quoting the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mullen, who said the greatest security issue facing our nation is the national debt. You know, he is well versed in the threats facing our nation, and the fact that our leading military man would say that, I think, is significant. It needs to be repeated as often as possible. If the negotiations fall off the tracks, I really think today is D-Day. This weekend is sort of the last chance we have to actually get agreements agreed to, get the language drafted, and have it in place by August the 2nd. I don't think it would be the worst calamity ever, but it would be disruptive, and it would cause, I think, an increase in interest rates, which would hurt the economy and hurt Americans across the economic spectrum if we don't get this done and if we have a spike in interest rates. I think also that that good stock market rally that we've had today, I think it'll go the opposite direction if we don't get this done.
Well, Senator Wicker, only about 20 seconds with you, but let me ask you this. If we see a deal done, and it means that taxes will be raised on those that are in the $1 million class or higher, would you vote for that?
I think if we close tax loopholes on the millionaires, I think it's something that can be done. I think raising a 5% tax on all people making over $1 million would raise such a small amount of money, it's not even worth talking about. But it probably would cost us jobs and actually raise the unemployment rate. I'm not willing to do that.
All right. Senator Roger Wicker, Republican from Mississippi. Senator, thank you very much. We are all watching and waiting what is happening at the White House. I want to let you know that our partners over at Fox News Channel now reporting that the talks at the White House have just concluded. So we expect to hear from some of the leaders, the Gang of Eight, if you will, if we have any of them at the microphone, whether it's at the White House, at Capitol Hill, either from the Republican or the Democratic side. We're going to bring you those comments. They're the microphones. We'd love to hear from these leaders exactly how those talks went at the White House. Again, the nation is watching, Congress is watching. Will this debt deal come to fruition today? Can the president make the deal happen? We'll bring any comments and any updates we can, but again, those talks